when I first selected what I want to talk about today, the 5 things you can start doing today, like why did I pick this topic? Because a half hour is not really enough to do it justice. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going with. And so, I started thinking, trying to fit everything in. And I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling that something's going to happen like the day of this expo that I'm going to want to kind of like share with you kind of instead. Not instead of the whole thing, but just part of it. And it did happen, not the day of, but about a day and a half before. So I want to share that with you. And actually it has to do with the expo because I was told I should get this like chip reader thing, right, to make it more convenient for people. And so I went and I thought I was just doing something, just go and order, and you have it in a few days. And so I went to PayPal and I did all the filling out and I called them. They're like, okay, you'll receive notification. And I did, and it was a denial. Like, you're denied. And it said because like you have a risky business, and so I'm like, okay, great. so I'm like, okay. Well, I remember seeing, and I'm not technically inclined at all. I went from Samsung Galaxy 3 to just recently the iPhone X. So I have like a lot of catching up to do. But so I remember seeing like Pay Simple, and I called them and like, oh well, we're better. We have all these business analytics, and we do this and this and that. Okay, great. So I sent in the application, but then they needed like all this stuff, like stuff from my bank and my my business stuff. And then I sent it to them, so I think, okay, well that's gonna be done. And then no, well we need to send it to the underwriter. The underwriter wants to see even more stuff and this information about your business and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think it's gonna be done. And it was just like all this back and forth. And this was last Monday. This poor guy, the initial rep, he was so nice. He's like trying to get it done for me. And finally got approved on like Friday. And they're like, well, your setup going to be set up for today. So I'm like, crap, like what, I really don't want to use PayPal because they're like rude. And I'm like, and then he's like, oh, but we can give you forms you can take and then people can write down their credit card numbers and we'll just fill it in later. I'm like, yeah, like that's gonna work. Credit card number. So I'm just, one thing, luckily, I learned is to just let it go. And I'm like, I need to stop, I need to clean because my sister was coming to visit me to help. And I'll figure it out, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be. And so that night, that was Friday night, I went to bed, and so the way, a lot of times the way that my angels and spirit guides communicate with me are through numbers and through, numbers but in different ways. So like sometimes, like my hand will like go in circles and I count the number of times, but like in the morning and the evening they like to like do that like with my ankles. So my ankles will like go in circles and then I'll count and then I'll go look up what the angel number means. And so that night I'm in bed and like kind of connecting, with my energy and trying to just not think about what I don't want to think about. And so I start, the energy kind of like works through me. So like sometimes I'm like moving kind of back and forth and stuff. And so I was doing that, but I was still laying down. And all of a sudden I like sit up straight and I look at the clock and it said 11:07. And I'm like, well, gosh, thank you for sending it that way rather than, could you imagine like 1,100? So I got up and I wrote this down because I didn't want to like forget exactly. So I went in to see what that meant. And it says that you will reach the future you've been striving for, and the angels are sending congratulations to you that you've taken the right step. So I'm like, okay, so I feel comfortable, whatever's going to be is going to be. So then I lay back down, get back to sleep, and then, so I have my cell phone there, and it makes this big shoo, like noise, and it wakes me up, and I look, and the time is 12:34. So of course then I go and I look up what that means. And so, the 1, 2, 3, 4 is seen as steps to have faith in yourself and the divine angels and the ascended masters. You've been working on a project, but it's worth it. So I'm like, okay, this is really getting good. Oh, so the whoosh on the cell phone was a message from PayPal saying I've been approved for the chip reader. I'm like, really? So now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm online, and I hear the thing, you order the chip that they say I'm approved for, and it says, no, you're denied. I'm like, what is going on? So I remember while I was on hold, them saying you can go buy the chip reader at a location. I'm like, well, I can't talk to them in the morning. Let me go see where they sell this chip reader. So I look, see Best Buy, I see all these others, and I saw Square Up. So then, first thing Saturday morning, no, it wasn't even Saturday morning, I'm sorry, it was that night. So I'm like, let me go to the site and let's see what's going on with Square Up. And like within 30 minutes, at 1 in the morning, I got approved, and then I went to Apple the next day to buy the darn thing. But I would have not have been guided to do any of that. And like when you're connected with your higher self, it's like constantly having like a warm fuzzy blanket like wrapped around you. And so so when that happened, I'm like, I know I was like meant to share that story with all of you. There's so many like great like teachers and practices. You got like mindfulness, the law of attraction, intentions, you got the alchemy, the fifth dimension stuff, like all this is great stuff. And it's kind of like, you have to be still so that you could go within to forgive others in order to attract what you want. And that like kind of takes a lot of time. And I know I found myself before kind of like doing the whole spiritual thing kind of like on the side. Like, you go to yoga, you buy the coloring book, you try to do meditation. I can't meditate, but I try. Watch over Super Soul Sunday. You feel really energized. You're like, okay, I'm gonna like stay on track now. Go to like Monday morning, you go into the office. Then like by lunchtime, Super Soul Sunday has like sailed out the window because of like all the crap that starts going on. But then finally, like one of my favorite sayings is, when are you going to be done being tired of being sick and tired? And I had finally gotten to that point. And so I dealt with a lot of challenges I'm sure many of you face or have, abuse, illness, lack of finances, and but I was done at that time. I'm like, I just want to be happy. I didn't even know anything about this whole higher self thing. So I just started doing things differently because I had to. And what I didn't know at the time were all these little things that I was doing was actually laying the foundation in order for me to have that awakening and bridge to my higher self. I really believe that life is truly a game. Life is a game of challenges that your spirit came here to play. And so, how do we win, right? And so we win because crap happens to enlightened people too. So it's not about trying to remain at that joyous level because things are going to happen. So it's not about the ability to remain in joy, it's about the ability to remain enlightened doing those things. Because the whole purpose is us to get through the challenges that we actually chose to deal with so that we grow as a spirit. But then once you do that and you connect and you bridge to your higher self, it's all gravy from there. So through experiences, through my own spiritual journey, and then taking key elements of all these great practices, I developed the Truth Method. And Truth stands for Transcendent Joy, restore your energy, use your spirit guides and guardian angels, tap into the power of presence, and honor the body that holds your spirit. So so those are the 5 things in those categories that you can start doing today. So starting with the first T, Transcendent Joy, which is kind of a big one, especially if you're not in joy to maintain. So it's like, well, I try to be happy. Like, I know I have this going on, and I try not to think about things, but like, how do I really get there? And I think the best way I can explain that is to find a spark. And that spark can be very different for different people. So I'll share my spark with you. There was like this space between a window and a sliding glass door. And I really, really wanted to put a bookshelf there, a bookcase. But I didn't have a lot of money, and I wasn't like trying to put it together myself. And so I was like looking everywhere online. I was going to all these stores. Finally, I walked into Holly, is it Holly Lobby or Holly Hobby? Holly Lobby. Holly Lobby. Holly Hobby is like a doll, right? I always get them mixed up. But I walked in there, and it was like sitting right there. Like it looked like it was like distressed wood. It looked just like this $9,000 one I saw on eBay. And it was like a great price. So I was like really excited. So these 2 ladies helped me. I pulled up the car. They was trying to help me maneuver it, get it in. It was not working. We're like windows down, angling it, not working. One of the managers was leaving to go home, and he stopped to help. He's helping, not working. Now, at this point, we have to like put the seats down. Couldn't like find the lever. And then he says to me, do you have anyone that can help you get this home? And my heart like really just sunk, because I didn't have anyone that I could go to for help, and I didn't have the money to like rent a truck. And then finally we found the head and lever, got it like threaded through the trunk, drove home very slowly. And I was really appreciative, because like they wanted to help me as much as I needed the help. So I wanted to give them some like token of appreciation. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring them some cupcakes. So the next day, I'm driving around, I'm doing my other stuff, and then it comes like, oh, do I really feel that? I don't feel like doing the cupcakes. I don't feel like going there right now. I'm like, no, you need to follow through this time. And I'm so glad I did, because I almost missed my spark. And I got the cupcakes, and when I recognized the cashier that had helped me, I stood in her line. And so when I got up there, I started to tell her why I was there, and she was calling her colleagues over, and she was so appreciative that I had taken out that little bit of time to say thanks. And then she started tearing up and asked me if she could give me a hug. And then I have honestly never felt this way in my life. I had so much like love swell up in my heart. Like I've never experienced like those tears of joy, but like when you have that much intense love, it really does kind of feel like sadness. It's almost like the same type of feeling. Mm-hmm. And so it was just like instantaneous joy. And you just need that initial spark that will, then develop into a flame. So that's when it comes to that transcendent joy. It does. Do the things that you wouldn't normally do, that you want to do. You say, I'll do tomorrow, whatever, because you never know where your spark might come from. With restoring your energy, because we all have short on time, right? So a really good place to do it in is in the shower, or if you take a bath. So when the water is coming down on you, you can say out loud to yourself, and you can wash away any and everything of a lower vibration and of a negative energy that's not serving you or higher purpose. And then you do the second half, which is opening yourself up to receiving any and everything that does serve your higher purpose. So not only are you storing your energy, and especially with the water because it's a conduit, you're also connecting with your guardian angels and spirit guides, so it's kind of like a two-for-one. Leading to use your spirit guides and guardian angels. And it's kind of funny because, like, I knew I had, like, I didn't know about the spirit guides before, but I knew about angels. But even, like, in the darkest times, like, I never thought to use them. Like, I always, I don't know, I kind of thought, like, oh, I need to get better myself first. But, like, that's their job. So they're just hanging out there, whether, you know, you like it or not. And they actually, like, the more you engage them, even for, like, the simplest things, like, I look for I would like the parking space up front, you know. But the key is you have to, like, feel it, because feel it as spirit, thinking is in your mind. So, but yeah, I do, in the grocery store, like, I want to, like, pick the right avocado. And for larger things, though, you can't ask for specifics, right? So that job, that promotion that you want, you can't ask, I want for that promotion, because the reality of it is you may think that's, like, what's best for you, but you don't really know if it is. And I know there were several jobs that I, you know, went for and didn't get. I'm like, well, what the heck? You know, I'm like the best candidate. And thank goodness, because could you imagine if I got one of those jobs and I was just like content in life, then I wouldn't be here doing this with any of you, and that would kind of suck. So, you know, you just always open yourself up to receiving what is best, because everyone knows what's best more than your ego mind. And then where are we? We are on TRU, I can't spell, tap into the power of presence. So that's like difficult, right? Because especially because we're always told that like multitasking and doing and always going and da-da-da is like good, when actually it's not. So it's like when your mind is racing, it's either doing one of two things. It's either playing back things that happened in the past, and it's always like the bad stuff, right? It's never like the good stuff. So it's, when we're doing that, it's just keeping us there. I don't know if any of you saw, I had that like vibrational scale at my booth, and my favorite, I used to live in guilt. I was guilty for like everything. Even guilty for stuff that was done onto me because I wasn't like smart enough or strong enough. And it's just funny because each day you wake up and we're given a brand new day, but instead of being thankful for that new day, we like reach back, strap the crap on our back, and you know, bring it with us moving forward. So really, I mean, unless you have to like do it for some like productive task, think about something that happened in the past, you just don't. You just don't. And then the flip side is that we're thinking about stuff in the future, which is like really funny because it's the future, we can't predict it. I mean, I would be sitting there like Sunday evening thinking about, okay, I'm gonna go in on Monday and I'm gonna say this to my manager, and I know, you know what, she's probably gonna say that, and then I'm gonna say this, like just making up stuff in my head to be upset about. And so, one thing, so it's difficult. So, you know, you're standing in the grocery store line and you're trying to like envision being connected to the earth, or trying to feel the wind on your face, and, you know, trying to be present, but, you know, you know, you try and your mind wanders, you bring it back, and that's okay. But what I found that helps with that is if you take like a white piece of paper or like a postcard, whatever, but like plain white. And if you just draw a black circle about like the size of a quarter, like that, make it solid, right? And then just like tape it on the wall. Preferably if you can sit on the floor. If not, you can make it eye level to sitting in a chair. And put it like where there's nothing like around it really. And you want to sit there, have a tissue in hand because you're probably going to tear, and you want to stare at that black circle for as long as you can without blinking. It's some like ancient Zen monk thing, and what it does is that it pulls your concentration, and if you tear, it actually is releasing toxins. And sometimes the dot will, like, might see it disappear. It might like start to move around or morph into different objects. But that's your focus is on that. And if you do that, I find that it helps being present in other areas. And then last we land on the H. Honor the body that houses the spirit. So I'm not going to tell you what to eat or how to exercise, at least not today, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. When it comes to food, do you remember when we had like the ho-hos? We didn't just like eat the ho-ho, right? We took off the fake chocolate, we unraveled it, looked out like the whipped cream, and then we ate. We like enjoyed the ho-ho. But like sometimes, that's like a big reason why the kids like, don't gain weight, right? But now, if we eat something that maybe we not should be eating, like we feel guilty, like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, now I'm gonna have to like go run on the treadmill. But all that, like we're all energy, so you're just sending negative energy to the cookie that you're about to eat that's going into your body, into your organs. So, that's a big reason why, the custom of blessing food. So eat the cookie, but then just tell the cookie that I know that I'm only going to take from you what's good for my body and that what serves my higher self. And within that mindset, it makes a huge difference. And the same thing with the exercise. Like if you're there hating the cookie, also for salads too. If you hate the salad, you gotta enjoy eating the salad too, or you might as well just eat the cookie instead. With the body, same thing with the exercise. Like, if you're going there, you're hating what you're doing, you're not getting that full benefit. So again, with the intentions, I know I'm going for this walk to heal my body. If I'm lifting weights, I'm actually visualizing the muscle getting leaner and stronger, and that also helps you kind of not flounder when exercise does get difficult. But when you do that, then it's all encompassing, and you're connecting with your higher self and your body, and you're going to get more out of that exercise and that food that you're eating. So I know I have like 1 minute left at time. And I have cards for you when you go out to list the truth method that I was talking about. Coming up in the end of April, I have a 5-week series where it's going to be a Saturday for an hour and a half once a week, where each one we'll take a deeper dive into the truth method and taking applications on how you can apply it to your life. If you register today, there's a 15% discount. And if you have any questions, please stop by on the big, long, white stuff in the back. So, they gave me an extra table. I did not ask for it.